Welcome back to Midnight Stories, the place where timeless wisdom meets the mysteries of the human heart. Here, under the moonlight, we explore the ideas, the philosophies, and the ancient secrets that still shape the way we live, love, and connect today. If you are new here, consider subscribing to Midnight Stories, where every tale carries a lesson, and every lesson carries a story worth remembering. Tonight, I want to share with you something different. Not another trick, not another flashy pickup line, but a simple, timeless idea rooted in Stoic philosophy that, if you truly embrace it, will make any woman not just notice you, but want to be close to you in a way that feels deep, magnetic, and unshakable. The title of this story is, "This Stoic Trick Will Make Any Woman Want You Badly." But before you think this is about manipulation or games, let me set the record straight. It's not. This is about becoming the kind of man whose presence, whose energy, and whose way of being naturally attracts the right kind of attention. It's about the inner gravity you build when you live by the principles of the Stoics. So sit back, relax, and let the night carry you through this story. Short pause, ambient background continues part 1. The secret of indifference. Let me take you back almost 2,000 years ago to the Roman Empire. Imagine the crowded streets of Rome, the merchants shouting, the soldiers marching, the heat of the Mediterranean sun baking the stones of the Forum. In that chaos lived a man named Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, and at the same time one of the humblest philosophers who ever lived. He ruled armies, commanded nations, but in his private writings he spoke about something deeply personal, the art of indifference. Now, indifference doesn't mean coldness. It doesn't mean apathy. To the Stoics, indifference meant freedom. Freedom from being controlled by the praise of others, by the criticism of others, by the temptations of pleasure or the fears of rejection. And here's the first truth of attraction. A man who is not desperate for attention, who is not moved by every flicker of approval or disapproval, becomes magnetic. Why? Because most men chase, most men bend, most men crumble the moment a woman tests them. But the Stoic man, he remains unmoved, calm, grounded. That's the first trick. Indifference to outcome. You approach, you speak, you connect. But whether she likes you or not does not touch the core of your being. That calm detachment is the flame women cannot resist. Part 2. Desire and self-mastery. But let's go deeper. Imagine a man sitting across from a woman at dinner. She's beautiful, elegant, the kind of woman most men would stumble over themselves to impress. But he doesn't fidget, he doesn't overtalk. He doesn't try too hard. Instead, he listens, he observes. His eyes meet hers, steady and warm, not hungry, not needy. He desires her, yes, but his desire is under control. This is the essence of Stoic self-mastery. The Stoics believed that the only true control we have in life is over ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, our reactions. We cannot control how others feel about us, what they think, or what they choose to do. But we can control how we show up. And here lies the magnetic secret. When a woman senses that your desire for her does not enslave you, but instead lives within you like a tamed flame, she feels both safe and drawn in. Because most men, they let their desire consume them, they smother her with it, they lose themselves in it, but you master it. You carry it like a sword sheathed at your side, sharp but controlled. That mastery makes her want you more than any words could. Part 3. Presence as power. Now, let me tell you a short story. A Stoic philosopher once walked into a crowded banquet. The room was loud, filled with laughter, food, and wine. But when he entered, something shifted. He wasn't the richest man there. He wasn't the loudest, but his presence commanded attention. Why? Because presence is not about what you say, it's about what you radiate. In the modern world, presence is rare. Most people are distracted, eyes glued to their phones, minds racing with insecurities, constantly trying to be somewhere else. But the Stoic man, he is here, entirely here. When he speaks to a woman, he looks at her as if nothing else exists. When he walks into a room, he is not in a rush to impress, but at ease with himself. This kind of presence feels like gravity. Women feel it instinctively because it's rare. And here's the trick. The more you train yourself to return to the present moment, the more you separate yourself from 99% of men. You do this through silence, through slowing down, through noticing your breath, through letting go of the anxious need to perform. Presence is the most powerful silent language you can speak. Part 4, the Stoic frame, but let's take it even deeper. Every woman, consciously or not, will test a man. She will question him, tease him, challenge him, even ignore him at times. Most men collapse under this. They over-explain. They apologize too quickly. They react emotionally. But the Stoic man holds his frame. What does that mean? It means he lives by his values. He knows what he stands for. He knows what kind of life he is building. He knows what kind of woman fits into his world. So when she tests him, he doesn't bend. He doesn't lash out. He doesn't need to prove himself. He simply remains centered. And paradoxically, this makes her respect him more. This makes her trust him. This makes her want to follow his lead, because she senses, perhaps unconsciously, that this is a man who cannot be swayed by every passing emotion or whim. This is the Stoic frame, calm, grounded, unshakable. Part 5, mystery and silence now. Here's something else the Stoics understood. Words are cheap. Anyone can talk endlessly, but silence, measured, intentional silence, speaks louder than any compliment. A woman asks you a question. You don't rush. You pause. You think. You answer with calm certainty. That pause alone, that comfort with silence, tells her everything she needs to know, that you are not desperate to fill the void, not desperate to prove yourself. This is why mystery is attractive, not because you're playing games, but because you are comfortable not revealing everything at once. You let her wonder, you let her lean in. The Stoic man doesn't hide. But he also doesn't pour out his entire soul to win approval. He reveals himself slowly, deliberately, with strength, and this slow unveiling builds desire like nothing else. Part 6, the fire within, but perhaps the most powerful Stoic trick of all is this: living with purpose. The Stoics taught that every man should know his role in the world, his mission, his reason for being. Without this, he drifts. With this, he shines. And here's the paradox. The more you chase women, the less they want you. But the more you chase your mission, your craft, your vision, the more women are drawn to you. Because women do not want to be the mission. They want to join a man who already has one. They want to walk beside a man who is already walking his path. So the fire within, the passion for your life's work, for your growth, for your vision, is what makes you truly irresistible. And this fire is not lit by her. It is lit by you. Part 7, putting it all together, so let's gather the pieces. The Stoic trick that makes any woman want you badly is not a single gesture, not a clever line, not a secret move. It is a way of being. It is indifference to outcome. It is mastery over desire. It is presence in the moment. It is holding your frame. It is mystery through silence. It is the fire of purpose. When you live this way, you don't chase. You don't beg. You don't pretend. You simply are. And that state of being is magnetic. Because women don't just want a man who looks good. They want a man who feels unshakable, a man who stands rooted like a mountain, a man who carries fire but doesn't let it consume him. That is the Stoic man. That is the man any woman will want badly. Closing words, so tonight, as you leave this story, I want you to remember this. Attraction is not about tricks, it's about transformation. When you practice the Stoic way, when you detach from the need for approval, when you master your emotions, when you live with presence and purpose, you do not just attract women, you attract respect, you attract loyalty, you attract the kind of relationships that are built on something unshakable, and that is the story the Stoics left behind for us. This was Midnight Stories. If you found value in this tale, if it lit something inside you, consider subscribing, because here under the night sky, we share more than just stories. We share ways of living, ways of loving, and ways of becoming the men we are meant to be. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and let your fire burn with purpose.